Hey beauties and gents, it's your girl Leanie and welcome to InnerBeautyOut. I am super excited to have you today. I decided to do something a little bit different today, and I think I'm going to bring this regularly in terms of just sitting down and just chatting it up with you. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. I did not film this tutorial behind this makeup look, but if this is something that you would want to see for sure, I can definitely do it. Alright, so I ended up playing with the subculture palette yet again, and so this is what I created solely out of the subculture palette, and then this is becoming my new favorite lip combo. So, but outside of makeup and all that jazz, I brought my little coffee with me because it is Sunday morning, and I thought what better time than to have a quick chat with you guys before heading to church. I've been between two topics in regards to how I've been feeling these days, and I feel like one of the messages that I have is it's okay to be confused. And I feel like when I bring these topics, it's not because I got it all together or I've got it all figured out. InnerBeautyOut is like we're figuring it out together, and so that's really why I felt like it was important to share some of the vulnerable things that I'm either going through in the moment or have gone through, and then we can talk about it. And I think just having to speak about it helps other people, because you think that, and this kind of brings this first topic on, is that there's this world persona that, or this world of view, outside view, that we have it together. I'm sitting on the other side of the camera and you don't know me from really a can of paint outside of what I put out on social media or what I put out in front of this camera. And you might think that, okay, this girl might have it together. Granted, some of the stuff that I have shared in the past in regards to, you know, my testimony with law school and where I am as far as work. But a lot of times we see people and we think that they literally you know, they have a great job, and because they have a great job, things are going well for them, or because they're in a great relationship, or it seems like they're in a good relationship, things are going well with them, or you see pictures with them and their family, or them on vacation, and it seems like everything is great. And what could they have to need for or want, or you know what, you know, it's not like your situation, or they're not struggling with challenges of feeling critical of themselves, or you know, things of that nature. And I want you to kind of break that myth of that thought process, because even though someone may seem like they have it together, it's not necessarily the case. I feel like everyone in their own right, regardless of where they are in their stage in life, is in a place of just still figuring themselves out. I feel like life is a life journey. Like, it is an ever evolving process. We're getting to know ourselves each and every day. We evolve, we become different, we grow, we mature every single day. And although sometimes we might make up our minds about certain things in terms of our likes and dislikes, ultimately it doesn't necessarily mean we can't be confused about other aspects in our lives. I was actually meeting up with a friend the other day, and I wanted to bring forth an idea that I've been thinking about for some time. And you know, in her eyes, she thinks that, you know, I've got it together because I'm running my own business as a makeup artist and things are great, and things are good, you know, but I feel like as our human nature, we always want more. We want to elevate ourselves. We want to grow ourselves. There's so much more that we want. And I tend to do that even with my friends and people that are around in my circle. And I'm like, wow, like this person's married and they're doing what they love, or this person, you know, is in the career that, you know, they've worked hard in. And I'm like, wow, like I'm like, this is beautiful. It's inspiring. And I'm thinking that they're content. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not content, but it doesn't also mean that they don't want more for themselves. And in conversation with my friend, she told me something else that she was pursuing and how she's thinking about changing her career. And I thought that, wow, like that was inspiring to me. Someone who would work so hard to make it past a graduate level degree. She's someone who is, you know, I don't want to put her business out there, but she's doing well for herself. And so in the legal area, I could say that. And then she is in this process of wanting to transition into a different career that has always been a passion that was igniting in her. I thought it was inspiring to see someone not let, time be an issue for them. And and although sometimes that might be one of the forethoughts in our heads, is that, okay, like, I'm too old, I've gone through this, do I really want to incur this much debt, or do I really want to, take time out, like, this is the time I should be doing this and that. And I'm like, she's not thinking about that, because in the moment of, like, she's doing it. And I'm like, that's so inspiring, because I always felt like, even in my process and in my journey of, when I was trying to figure out whether law school is a thing for me, like, I felt like time had escaped me, and I felt like at this point in life for me, I should be kind of in a settled place. I should be in a place of stability and not still trying to figure it out. But who is the timekeeper, like, as far as that? What is this unspoken rule about, by age 25 you should be married, and by 30 you should have children and settled in your career, and by 35, like, you know what I mean? Who says that? Like, it's all up to us, and of course, of God's will, we want to bring our prayers and our requests before God, because we want him to, to lead us and guide us. And because this is a faith channel, because it's a part of my life and what I do. So I think it's important, to be able to explore those different areas, but obviously praying about it too. But the truth piece of it is that, not everyone has it figured out. Whether you're in your career and you're thinking about doing something else, take that opportunity, take that chance. What do you have to lose? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think you need to be strategic in terms of how you might go and try something, in the sense of, like, let's say, I wouldn't say quit your job to go pursue something you're passionate about if you don't have enough earnings saved up, or you don't know where your source of income, how you're going to pay your bills, and so forth. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where you compromise yourself. So, I mean, you have to be strategic and think about the overall plan. If I want to go and pursue a passion project, how can I make this fruitful for me? How can I put myself in the best position to have the best possible outcome, where I don't have to come back to my 9 to 5, or I don't have to do, X, Y, and Z, where I feel like I'm tussling between the two. And sometimes it takes taking a step back to take 10 steps forward. And I say this because I recently had kind of come across this in terms of just where I am. I still do currently apply for jobs and things of that nature. Even though I am an artist, I still feel like multiple revenues of income is important to me. And so just to be able to set myself in terms of being stable. And so there's a particular opportunity where I may be employed. And this is where this topic came to be, is that I felt like I've always had one foot out the door and one foot in the door in regards to being an entrepreneur and being a freelancer and doing this full-hearted and 100% full-time, which I've done for the past 4 years now, and then earning an income and being able to pay my bills and being able to maybe even use the income to catapult my dream of wanting this particular lifestyle. So in that sense, taking a step backwards, some might think it's a detour, some might think it's an obstacle, some might think it's just a stepping stone to get to where you need to be. And so for me in this situation, I feel like if I were to go ahead and pursue income as far as like a 9 to 5 job, that'll help me push forth in terms of my ultimate dreams. Another thing I think that is important is, and this is probably going to be the last point, is talking about it. I think that sometimes we get so caught up in our minds about what people see and what people think about us. We don't want to show our vulnerabilities. We don't want people to know that we are, indecisive, or that we have doubts, or that we're confused. And I think what's important is that you have your core group of people in your life that you can bring these conversations to, or even just like writing it down in a prayer journal and bringing it before God, and talking about it with your family. If you're really close in terms of your family, these are things that you have to go to someone and just like talk about it. Sometimes in the midst of talking about it, you need someone who's a good listener, not someone who's going to cut you off, not someone who's eager to give you advice, but someone who is really good at listening. And I think that sometimes even in the midst of speaking or talking things out with people, that you learn so much more and you realize, okay, it's not that as complicated as I was making it seem in my head. Another thing is that sometimes it takes talking to someone who's a complete stranger. So I've also met other people where they're like-minded entrepreneurs as well, and they also help ignite and fuel, okay, I know that it feels uncomfortable right now, but don't give up. And they help kind of re-emphasize and reignite the fire of being an entrepreneur, and the creativity piece of it, and the freedom of it, and just how fun it could be. So I think it's important to be able to speak to different people in terms of like what your aspirations, what your thoughts are, where you feel conflicted. And if it doesn't come to you naturally, maybe not in that moment, maybe in something that they say, think about it, ponder over it, pray over it, and listen to sermons and see where it can ultimately come together and click for you. I think it's very, very important to speak about it. I don't think it's something that we're meant to hold in. I feel like God has created us to have relationship with other people, and from the beginning of time, we have people in our lives to be able to speak to them, to rely on them. What I think is also important with having people in your lives is understanding who to go to. Not everyone needs to know your dreams and your plans. Share your thoughts with someone you feel comfortable sharing those things with. Ask God to reveal to you, what He wants you to do, where He wants you to go, how He wants you to move, and He will. So like I've mentioned, I completely believe it is okay to be confused. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be confused. There's nothing or no one holding to you having it all figured out. I know that the pressures of life and family and peers and social media can really cloud our judgment in terms of like where we need to be, what we need to be fulfilling, what we should have accomplished, all these pressures of day to day. But it's you, it's your life. It's ultimately whatever you want to make of this life. And so don't give in to those temptations and the pressures of like doing things and moving by emotion and not being thoughtful about what it is that you want to do, and what it is that you want to accomplish, and where is it that you want to be, the lifestyle that you want for your life. And so it doesn't mean that I got it together, your girl ain't got it together, but I just got to figure it out at my own pace, and I need to put myself in a position to win. Another way of putting yourself in a position to win is not necessarily just, yes, you've changed your mindset, you've talked to people, but exercise your mind. That's another thing someone told me or inspired me to do, is really just like doing the research, reading books. You're not reading for the purpose of just leisure, reading for the purpose of just growing as an intellectual and learning and being wise, learning from other people's mistakes, learning from other people's advice. Take what you can use, leave what you don't need, and grow from that. But I'm pushing myself to read a lot more often, daily, a chapter out of out of a book, so that I can really hold myself accountable to that. Incorporate this passion project in part of your daily life, in terms of your daily life. If this is something that you want to do, as far as, let's say, for example, YouTube, doesn't mean that if you start doing something else, or you're working 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be, that you can incorporate this once a week in your lifestyle. Make this a lifestyle for you. If you eventually want this to be your full-time lifestyle, start working it in. Make it a routine. If exercise is a thing for you, getting in shape is a thing for you, little by little, take baby steps. Eat right. Get up early and start your day earlier to do that. Like, I feel like I need to carve out time in my day-to-day and intentionally read, because I want to better myself as an intellectual. I want to grow myself. I want to be wiser and bring more to the table. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that I made sense. I hope I wasn't all over the place. I just wanted to really share these points that were on my heart about like this pressure of this world in terms of being confused and how, like, you know, be walking into a room when someone says, I do X, Y, and Z, and, you know, and you're sitting here like, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. Like, you don't have to have it all planned out, mapped out, because plans change. Life changes. Look at what we're going through today. Who would have expected? You don't plan for these things. But it doesn't mean you can't plan for the future in terms of, like, mapping out goals for yourself, things that you want to achieve. But don't hold yourself too hard, you know, in terms of, like, ultimately what it is that you want to do. Don't put that pressure on yourself, and enjoy the process of getting to where your journey is going to lead you. So again, it's okay to be confused. Don't worry about the world standards of what you're supposed to be, this world persona. And the truth is, everyone is probably doing what you're feeling or going through what you're going through right now in terms of how you're feeling. Wanting to do something kind of in between, trying to figure it out, whether they're settling their career and they're always thought about doing X, Y, and Z, and it's okay because they're going through that process too. And talk about it. Share it with someone. Talk it through. Figure out whether it makes sense to move forward and do it. And then just, like, let it ride and plan. And so I do hope that you enjoyed this. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, including the bell button, so that you know when a new video is out. Give me a thumbs up if you like this content and want to see more like it. Join me in the comment section. I will always be there typing away. I'm waiting for you. Oh, hey girl. I'll be down there in the comment section, and I hope to see you in my next one. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.